Hi everyone. So now we are going to find our own solution to the system of equations. So we're given the two equations and we have to find the solution. So we have to find the intersection point. So graphically, all we have to do is graph both of the equations and find where they intersect. So for the first question, number 4, we have y equals -2. And if I wanted to write this in y equals mx plus b, we would have y equals, there's no x's, so that's 0x minus 2. So my y-intercept is -2. So on the y-axis, I'm going to put a point at -2. And then my slope is 0, so there's no rise to this line at all. The 0 slope, remember, is a horizontal line. So that will be my line. And with systems of equations, since we're going to have two lines on one graph, we need to label our equations. So I'm going to label this y equals -2. That way, whoever's looking at my paper knows which line is which. For our second equation, we have y equals 3x plus 1. So my y-intercept is +1. And then from there, my slope is 3, or 3 over 1. So I'm going up 3 and to the right 1. And then again, make sure you label your equation. I always label it by one of the arrows. So then our last step is to identify our solution because, again, remember the question says determine the solution to the system. I haven't actually done that yet. All I've done is graph the lines. So I'm going to find my intersection point right here. And this is the point -1, -2. So that's my solution. Remember, you need an x and a y coordinate for a solution. Moving on to number 5, I'm going to do the same thing, graph both of the lines, label them, and find the intersection. So my first line is y equals -3x plus 2. So I'm starting at +2 on the y-axis. And then from there, my slope is -3. So I'm going down 3 and to the right 1. And then be sure to label your lines. For my second line, I have y equals 1x minus 2. So I'm going to start at -2 on the y-axis. Remember, our slope is 1, so I'm going up 1 to the right 1, up 1 to the right 1. And still, we're trying to fill up our graphs as much as possible. So my lines are graphed, they're labeled, and now all I have to do is find where they intersect. So there's the intersection at 1, -1. So my solution is the point 1, comma, -1. Make sure you're giving both the x and the y coordinate. Pause it if you need to write anything down. All right, we have two more here. For number 6, our lines are y equals 2x minus 1. So I'm starting on my y-axis at -1. And from there, my slope is 2, so I'm going up 2 into the right 1. and label your line. Then for the second equation, I have y equals 4x minus 5. So I'm starting at -5 on the y-axis. And my slope is positive 4. So that means 4 over 1, I'm going up 4 into the right 1. So my lines are graphed and labeled. Now I just have to find the solution. So they intersect way up here, and this is the point 2, 3. So that is my solution. For number 7, I will start this one with you, but then I will have you finish this one on your own. So remember, in order for us to graph a line, it needs to be in y equals mx plus b first. So it looks like we're going to have to rearrange that second equation before we graph any lines. So to get y alone, I have to move that x to the opposite side. So I'm going to subtract x on both sides. I'm going to bring down the -3y. Then I just wrote my -x first. That way, this starts to look like y equals mx plus b. One more step, we have to get rid of that -3 out front. So remember, that's -3 is being multiplied to y. So we're going to divide every single term by -3. So we get y equals, this is 1/3 x minus 3. So you're going to graph this equation on the graph here, and then you're going to graph this first one also. You have 2 lines to graph, and then find the solution.